All right, Mirror Stage is back with its expanded Expand Upon series. That's what it's called, Expand Upon. It's where local playwrights develop short plays with a socially relevant theme.
Yeah, this time around they're tackling immigration. It's a big issue, obviously, in our country right now. Joining us live here to talk about these productions, Artistic Director Suzanne Cohen and actor Michael D. Blum. Thanks you both for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Suzanne, Michael?
Yeah, super interested to hear how you're piecing this all together, Suzanne. What does it look like for an audience member to tackle such an issue like this?
We're trying to be responsive to the community from the beginning. So the community selects the themes, and then we commission 2 local playwrights to each write a short piece using local actors. And so part of the importance is having 2 different perspectives, because these kind of complicated issues, you can't just sum up. There's no one right answer. There's reasons why they're complicated and complex. So the point of having 2 pieces is to provide the different perspectives and to initiate conversation, to get people talking, and to approach it from different ways. So that was kind of the main initiative for the series. Yeah.
So right out of the gate, you can tell that it's emotionally driven, right? And if you're covering all sides of an issue like that. So tell us what you're doing, Michael.
Well, I'm playing in both pieces. In the first one, I play a beaver.
Not what I thought you were going to say.
No, the father beaver. And it's a very, it's an obvious metaphor, but this beaver family dealing with, salmon are coming in and other beavers and that sort of thing. So it's pretty clear what's going on, but I am the patriarch of the beaver clan.
And the second one?
The second one is a bit more complex, and I get to play a few characters, primarily a translator who is translating for people trying to get their immigration visas and only speak Spanish. So I get to deliver much of my dialogue in Spanish, which is nice. It's my other language. And again, it gives people a perspective of what they go through trying to come to this country.
There's something about playing out these big issues in art, right, and on stage. What's the audience reaction that you're getting and the involvement, the response to all of this?
It's been really encouraging that people are open and are eager in the discussions to kind of share their perspectives, to hear other things, and are respectful as well about different experiences, because you can have 50 different people in the same room see the same performance and have 50 different responses depending on what they bring into it personally. So sometimes there's a little bit of hesitance to dive in initially, but with the pre-show lectures that we have and lobby displays and everything, it's really about helping people become better informed as well as entertained, and to sort of experience things from a different perspective.
And it's not just these 2 really interesting plays. Tell us who else is participating and what their art is.
So we have the 2 playwrights. We have a dramaturg who's helped put together really informative lobby displays.
Lots.
We have a local subject matter expert from University of Washington who's doing 2 pre-show lectures. There's 7 actors who are each in both pieces. There's me as the director, and then we have several other staff members doing front of house.
And Michael, you as well, you've got to be touched just being a part of something like this. Something bigger than just,
That makes people think and feel something and have a better understanding.
Virtually any piece of theater is going to have something to say about the human condition. But these are issues that we are dealing with right now. And they hit close to home for almost all of us.
And they're complicated.
They are complicated.
Yeah, so you have 4 chances to see these performances, by the way, if you're interested here at home. I would definitely go to this. Is a great idea. This weekend, it's at the Ethnic Cultural Theater at UW, and next weekend at the Yaw Theater in Georgetown. And if you would like to see Michael play a beaver, now is your chance.